Let's be real, Cowboys Nation. The Dallas Cowboys might mess around and be dangerous this year. If you're new to the channel, I'm your boy Mecca Mike, and I'm still not over the fact that the Cowboys actually did what we asked them to do. They got wide receiver help for CeeDee Lamb. So if you don't already know by now, it should be obvious from the thumbnail that the Dallas Cowboys made a blockbuster trade for wide receiver George Pickens. They sent over a third and a fifth round pick to the Steelers, and the Steelers are sending over George Pickens and a seventh round pick. We'll look at George Pickens' skill set. We'll look at his fit in Schottenheimer's offense, how he complements CeeDee Lamb, and what this means for defenses around the league. I'll also cover concerns about his attitude, plus why Dak Prescott's leadership could be exactly what Pickens needs. So if you love this Cowboys content or you're hyped about George Pickens in the silver and blue, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Let's get to it. George Pickens is a bona fide playmaker who thrives in contested catch situations and can stretch the field like few others. Standing about 6'2, 6'3 with a 33-inch vertical, he's a nightmare matchup for any cornerback, especially in one-on-one scenarios downfield. His ball tracking instincts and body control mean he consistently makes highlight reel grabs that flip momentum. Beyond the deep ball, Pickens has smooth acceleration and the agility to create separation on intermediate routes. In Pittsburgh, under Mike Tomlin, he averaged over 14 yards per catch and found the end zone 12 times over 2 seasons. Imagine Dak hitting the back shoulder fade or a laser post to Pickens. Defenses will be forced to respect him as a vertical threat. This dynamic duo of Pickens and Lamb gives schemers nightmares in coverage. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I don't want to see anything of this, but people are going to downplay it and act like, oh, well, Pickens is not that good. He's a nutcase, all this stuff, but they're going to see that when both of them are on the field, you can't just roll coverage over to CeeDee Lamb. And I get it. Some fans and pundits, they have raised eyebrows at Pickens' reputation for occasional flare-ups and sideline frustrations. He's shown passion, but at moments has been very visibly irritated, like in-game tantrums when plays break down. It has sparked questions about his maturity. And critics point to locker room dust ups in Pittsburgh as red flags, wondering if he can consistently mesh with the locker room or with Pittsburgh, who was known for their championship winning culture. Yet it's important that we remember he rarely had a consistent quarterback play it with the Steelers. A lot of those guys, I'm sorry to say, were bums. People can say, "Oh, Russell Wilson." Russell Wilson did not look good out there. Y'all can lie. I don't care that the Giants picked him up. Wilson did not look good. And since Big Ben retired, Steelers really haven't had a quarterback. Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky. Come on, guys. They haven't had anybody. Mason Rudolph. So that can lead to a lot of frustration. And most wide receivers, if you don't have a quarterback, they're going to be mad. There was no consistency. But in Dallas, there is going to be consistency in Dak Prescott. He has a calm demeanor, veteran presence, and can help temper any type of issues that may come across. And I get it. Pickett is a competitive guy. He wants to win. Now he has a stable quarterback room, stable environment. So that can help Pickens to channel his intensity and push that and make that intensity turn it into production um, that it will definitely help the Cowboys, especially in his contract year. So we have to remember that CeeDee Lamb is going to be the main option. He has elite separation, nuanced route running precision, and Pickens coming to Dallas brings a different dynamic that balances out the aerial attack. Lamb excels at beating zone coverage, with route seams and option routes, while Pickens, his explosiveness turns single high safeties into one on one matchups. While Lamb commanding bracket coverage, Pickens can feast over the top and vice versa. So defenses can't double both without inviting disaster. This two headed monster is going to force opposing defensive coordinators into impossible choices on every snap. In practice drills, Dak and Pickens, they can show that chemistry by really learning and doing a lot of intermediate dig routes and seam concepts. And that, if you, the more and more they practice together, the more they can really put that stress on defenses. It's like, okay, we're seeing that they're moving over the Lamb. Let's adjust and let's call plays that get Pickens wide open, and then vice versa. And I think Schottenheimer's ability to really develop this playbook and give him that opportunity to say, okay, you want to double up? Okay, you got to deal with Lamb. You got to deal with Pickens. Oh, and by the way, we still got Ferguson, and then we got Turpin, and then we have the running back Blue. So who are you going to double? Are you sure you want to double CD Lamb? Because one on one, Pickens can go crazy on you, and that's if Turpin isn't wide open, and that's if and a lot of people don't understand about how this helps Lamb is that when you see the Tolberts who could barely beat man coverage, you see the Mingos that yeah he never had a quarterback, but you don't know what you're getting, so it's a risk putting those guys out there. We've seen the Jalen Brooks; they got opportunities, they didn't do anything with it. And still, I will say 90% of that, I believe, had to do with Mike McCarthy making guys do things that weren't to their skill set. But that's besides the point right now. At the end of the day, you have a surefire wide receiver that makes Dak's job and CeeDee Lamb's job easy, and that's all that should matter. So let's talk about the impact of the depth chart. And remember, now we have speed threats now on this offense. So it's not just that cookie cutter run down the field and come back. At all levels, we can have matchup nightmares. So this is what people don't understand. When the Cowboys, them trading for Pickens reshapes the receiving room into a sharply defined hierarchy. Outside of Lamb and Pickens and Turpin, and I'll throw Ferguson in there. And now we have Jadon Blue, who runs a 4-2-4-3. We have weapons at all positions out there offensively. And just Pickens and Lamb, them two alone are going to give defenses nightmares. And now they're going to put in gadget plays and jet sweeps that are going to get Turpin and Blue open too. Man, it's going to be scary. And then you have veterans like Dak, Micah, CD. They're going to anchor that core leadership and keep that room grounded, keep the guys in line. So for the guys like the Jadon Blue, Pickens coming in, they'll find a way to carve their roles into the offense. And Pickens' experience will help him develop that offense even more so because he's very sharp with his routes and his technique. He's been working with CeeDee Lamb in the offseason, so it's going to be scary. But again, because it's the Cowboys, people are going to downplay it. And then when the Cowboys start looking good offensively, they're going to say, oh, you guys have a super team. Oh, this and that. But again, you will see. It's going to be interesting. And bringing in Pickens along with, like I said, a Jadon Blue, and I keep saying Blue and Turpin because the speed, that's really what's going to open up the field. Um, and this new route concepts that we're going to be having with Schottenheimer, which I hope so. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he's not going to be Mike McCarthy. So I'm just assuming there's going to be new route concepts and gadget plays that are really going to open up the field and use these guys' abilities to the best, to be able to put stress on the defenses. I know there are going to be a lot of installs of four wide sets. Um, there, it's going to be difficult if you want to play that high safety. Have fun. They're gonna run routes all over you guys. Crossing routes are gonna get crazy. Uh, you can try to play double high, but there's gonna be at least one person that they can really get in the middle. And if you're not playing nickel, and if you're in that nickel defense, which majority of the teams are, okay, blue, here's the ball, take it to the house because we have those hogs up front. So especially we're gonna be in a run heavy scheme that has speed. So you don't know if you want to play up. Okay, you see that we're running the ball effectively. So now you want to bring that. So you want to walk that safety down, give that one on one on the outside. Guess what's going to happen? CD, go catch. Pickens, go catch. Okay, sweep. There you go, Turpin. Go catch. And I think too, thing that people need to look out for, especially next year, I think they're going to implement a lot of screen plays. Because in Mike McCarthy's offense, he just basically got rid of it. There was no screens. They were just look, throw. Well, everything was in front of you. There was no misdirection. Oh, there was no nuance to what he did. It was just very basic and simple, and teams caught on because he did elements of it for years. But finally, you got to a point where teams know exactly what you're doing. You're taking guys, running them down the field, telling them to come back. That's meant for big body wide receivers. Cowboys really didn't have big body wide receivers like that. But even if we did, the way defense is just sitting on that route, you're tipping your hand to them. So, and this is what I wanted. That's why I said with a coach like Mike McCarthy, you're going to need the players to make his scheme work. And when I say players that need to make his scheme work, where it's like you have players that can play well in any scheme. We didn't have that. So we didn't have guys that could elevate the bad coaching. So when we played against the good teams, what happened? We got routed. We got outcoached because we didn't have the players. And I felt it was unfair on Dak to say we need to get all these star players at all these levels to offset bad coaching. You might as easily just get rid of the bad coaching and then boom, you're good to go. But again, that's just me. That's how I felt. So, what does this blockbuster trade, mean for Dak Prescott? Well, Dak thrives when he has multiple credible targets. I think most quarterbacks are like that. You give me more options, I'm going to play well. And last season, things were just really isolated to Lamb and then Cooks. And Cooks, especially because he had that issue with his knee where I think he went to some specialists to clean up the knee and it got infected and he missed a couple games because of that and then just wasn't the same since. Um, After all those issues, the offense just sputtered from the word go. Uh, and now that we have Pickens in the mix, Dak can gets a true second option that can win vertically and restore that confidence in that play action and early shots. And that'll help Dak's pocket presence, knowing that, okay, I have that trusted guy I can throw to. It's not just Lamb or bust. And because he knows that he can trust Pickens on those critical downs, and it just relieves that pre-snap reads because teams now they can't just okay, I dare you to have this guy beat us because now we have the guy that can actually do that, and then it's just going to help increase Dak's completion percentage. It can really open up those explosive plays and really boost the yards per attempt for Dak, and obviously help his quarterback rating. And then I keep having to mention You're going to have someone like Blue and Turpin who are really going to open up the field so teams can't just blitz and then play man coverage all game on you and dare your guys to beat them. So it's really going to help Dak have that ability to play better because, again, it's not CD or bust or, oh, now we don't have a run game. We have the run game now. We have the wide receiver too. Those two things are going to really open up the field and make the Cowboys less predictable, which again was what I was begging for the Cowboys to do under Mike McCarthy, but they refused to do it. He's no longer here. Hopefully, Schottenheimer and his play calling will really look at the guys that you have, use them to their ability, and not be so, oh, we're just going to do this. We're just going to go up the field, run back, not take deep shots. And then when we take deep shots, you just have Turpin going on a 9 where the guy could just sit back there and say, okay, we're not afraid of Turpin on a night route on the boundaries. Your fear of Turpin is in the middle of the field, not on the boundaries, because they could just kind of push him to the side and get him out of bounds. So he can't make that clean catch. Why aren't you using Turpin in space? That was the issue with Mike McCarthy, but again, that's for another story. But the one thing I haven't liked that uh, I've seen some Cowboys. Well, it's not that I haven't liked this, but I've seen some Cowboys fans were clamoring for a wide receiver two when Amari left. And now we have Pickens. So I'm seeing a lot of hype, a lot of love, but I'm also seeing a lot of people saying, oh, but his attitude, his attitude, his attitude. And I get it. You want this well polished, laced up guy. I want to win. I want to win. And yes, I get it. Leadership, attitude, all those things matter. But you need a guy that can get the job done. And again, you can bring up his attitude, but then are you saying Dak Prescott isn't someone that can get that under control? I think he can. And I think part of his attitude was tied to who was throwing to him, the situation. When it came to quarterback, I had no idea what the Steelers were doing. I could have took one look at Trubisky and said, "Really? This is what y'all want to do?" I didn't understand what they were doing. Even Pickett, I was like, I don't get it. Even for me, I'm not the biggest Justin Fields fan. I thought he was a better quarterback, but they put Wilson because everyone told y'all he was better based on what? He didn't do anything in Denver. What makes you think he was going to do anything with the Steelers? Just a lot of decisions that didn't make sense at the quarterback position, and especially a team that was a playoff team last year. Your biggest issue was the quarterback. You didn't fix that. You didn't try to improve that. You went out and said, this is the guy we felt was more reliable based on nothing. And then he did exactly what I thought he would do. It's like he got carried by the team, but then when you needed him, he fell apart. He had plenty of opportunities. That's why Pickens was just tired of it. So I get it. But for me, I feel like with Dak, CD, Micah, the leadership, this new age leadership, because now they're the veterans. That's a lot of people need to understand. This is new age veterans. You don't have the Tanks, you don't have the Jordan Lewises, you have these veterans, these new age veterans that are gonna hold it down. And again, if you want to keep Jordan Pickens happy, go win games. Go win games, and I guarantee things will work out. So for anybody that's afraid of, oh, his attitude, oh, I want to let it play out. Let these coaches do their job. And then we're gonna see on the field if it works. And if it doesn't work, it is what it is. Because I was reading somewhere that if Pickens gets a contract somewhere or walks away in free agency, Cowboys get a third round pick anyway. So they get it's a win-win situation. So even if it doesn't work out, Pickens walks away, you still get a third. I still think they're gonna try to extend him, but at the end of the day, it just depends. Give Dak the weapons, go out and play, and see what happens. I have faith these coaches know what they're doing. This is a whole different mindset as of now, because now you got the wide receiver. If they hadn't got the wide receiver and they kind of shot away from the D tackle, I still want a D tackle, but this is the moves that Cowboys Nation, this is what we need in order to win. So there you have it, Cowboys Nation. George Pickens automatically, day one, hasn't even touched the field, fixes our wide receiver two issues immediately. And also at the same time gives the fan base hope again. It's going to be a scary offense. That's what I believe. You're going to have Blue, Turpin, 4.2, 4.3 speed out there. And you're going to have Dak Prescott, obviously, CD Lamb, Micah. I think this is going to be a squad. We'll see what they do. But I have faith that they will be able to hold things down. We have the veteran leadership of Micah, CD, Dak. The core of the Dallas Cowboys is in good hands. Training camp in the 2025 season will showcase how Pickens can amplify our passing attack, and I can't wait to see him in action in that silver and blue. But that's all I have for today, folks. And remember, if anyone hasn't told you yet, then be sure to remember this. You get whatever you put in. You put in the work, you'll reap all the benefits. So stay focused, stay hungry, and keep grinding. I'm your boy Mecca Mike. That's Meccha Mike, and I'm out.